The world's biggest oil lifeline is burning. Not in visible flames, but in tension, in positioning, and in a silent calculation being made thousands of miles away. China is watching, closely, carefully, not reacting emotionally, but strategically. Because while the world focuses on the immediate clash around Iran, a deeper shift is unfolding, one that could reshape the global economic order. This is not just about conflict, this is about opportunity. Because in every moment of instability, there are those who lose and those who reposition. And right now, China is positioning. Think about this. A $20,000 drone can disrupt infrastructure worth billions. A single strike can move oil prices globally. And while that chaos unfolds, major economies are recalculating supply chains, energy dependencies, and financial strategies. This is the David versus Goliath moment, but not just in warfare, in economics. And that's why this matters. Because when China watches a potential Iran-related conflict, it's not just observing military movements, it's analyzing the impact on energy flows, currency dominance, and global trade. It's looking at where the system is weakest and where it can gain leverage. Now let's go deeper. China is the world's largest energy importer. It depends heavily on oil flowing through the Middle East, and a significant portion of that oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz. This is a vulnerability, but also a strategic focus, because any disruption in that region affects China directly. Now imagine a scenario where tensions escalate, shipping slows, routes become risky, prices rise, China faces higher energy costs, but at the same time, it sees something else, an opportunity to accelerate change. Now look at the contrast. On one side you have the United States, a military superpower, deeply involved in the region, managing alliances, projecting force. On the other side, you have China, less directly involved militarily, but deeply invested economically, watching, adapting, positioning itself for long-term advantage. This is the core conflict, not just military, but systemic. Now let's talk about the financial layer, because this is where the real shift happens. Oil is priced in dollars. This creates global demand for the US dollar. But when energy markets become unstable, countries begin to reconsider alternative currencies, bilateral trade agreements, diversification of reserves. China has already been moving in this direction, expanding trade in yuan, building financial infrastructure outside traditional systems, and moments of crisis accelerate this process, because instability creates incentives for change. Now consider the numbers. Global trade volumes in the trillions, energy markets worth trillions annually, financial systems interconnected at unprecedented levels. This is not a small shift. This is structural. Now connect this to history, because this pattern has played out before. When the British Empire faced financial strain and geopolitical challenges, the system began to shift. The pound weakened. The United States emerged as the new center of financial power. Now look at today. The United States still dominates, but the system is under pressure. High debt, geopolitical tension, fragmentation of global trade, and at the same time, China is rising, building alternative systems, expanding influence. This is the pattern. Not sudden collapse, but gradual transition. Now go even further back. Empires rise when they control trade, resources, and finance. They decline when that control is challenged. Rome, Britain, and now, potentially the current system. This is not prediction, this is pattern recognition. Now let's go deeper into the hidden forces driving this shift. The first is energy dependency. China needs stable energy flows, but instability pushes it to diversify. Invest in alternatives, secure new routes. The second is currency competition. The dollar dominates global finance, but that dominance creates incentives for others to challenge it. China is building the infrastructure to do so. The third is geopolitical alignment. Countries affected by instability may shift alliances, form new partnerships, create new networks. Now combine these forces, energy risk, financial competition, geopolitical realignment, and you get a system in transition. Now let's look forward. In the next 24 to 72 hours, headlines will focus on immediate developments, military movements, statements, market reactions, but the deeper story will continue quietly. China adjusting strategies, securing resources, expanding influence, because long-term positioning does not happen in headlines, it happens in strategy. Now consider the broader implications. A more fragmented global system, multiple centers of power, competing financial networks, reduced reliance on a single currency. This creates uncertainty, but also opportunity. Now here's the most important point. The current system is under stress. High debt, tightening liquidity, geopolitical tension, and now, energy instability. This is the convergence. Multiple pressures aligning. This is how systems begin to change. Not instantly, but inevitably. Now here's the final warning. China watching the Iran situation is not passive observation, it is strategic calculation. A recognition that the global system is entering a new phase. A phase where instability creates openings, where power shifts quietly, before it becomes obvious. History shows us what happens next. When competing systems emerge, the existing order is challenged, and when that challenge reaches a tipping point, the system changes. The only question is this: are we witnessing a temporary geopolitical crisis, or the early stages of a global economic shift that will redefine power, currency dominance, and the future of the financial system itself?